Hi there, Rachel Bradley here, licensed principal real estate broker in the beautiful state of Oregon. Today I wanted to make a video and talk about a big question that is out there. That is it better to buy now or to wait for interest rates to drop? So I see a lot of different news articles on that topic, and it really got me to thinking, and I started diving kind of into the numbers more and looking at different aspects of the market. And so I thought it would be an interesting video to dive into this question. So let's take a look. We're jumping right into the question. Should I buy now or wait for interest rates to drop? So here's a chart that shows us mortgage rates projections. So you can see that most people are kind of between the 6 and 6.5 of where mortgage rates will land through the end of this year, moving into 2026. Now, we did just see rates come down last week. I believe we're at about 6.65, maybe even just a tick lower than that, and that is lower than we have been. So in just the past year, I think it's the lowest that we've hit this year. So that's good. We also have this upcoming Fed meeting in September. So we will see how that impacts the interest rate. With the latest jobs report and other economic data, it seems extremely probable that they will lower the rate. Now, how much that actually impacts home buyers' interest rates, we have yet to be seen. So we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. But everybody that I'm reading and talking to, and information that I see, is that interest rates are projected to come down over the next couple years. How low? That's yet to be seen. Are we going to see interest rates in the 2s and 3s and 4s? Seems really, really unlikely to me. With that being said, I don't have a crystal ball, but it seems more probable that maybe we can somehow get back into the high 5s, maybe at the end of 2026. If there's 3 rate cuts next year, hopefully we can drop below, at least get below 6. So with that being said, now let's dive into the big question of, does it make sense to buy now or to wait? So they say that when interest rates drop to 6.6, drop below 6%, 5.5 million more households will be able to afford a home, right? That's a lot of people. That's 550,000 that will be likely to buy in the next 12 to 18 months. So how many of them will purchase in the Portland metro area? We'll have to wait and see. I think last month we had about 2,000, maybe 2,200 closings, but these are our busier months. On average, I'd have to look up the number. I want to say about 10,000 closings in the Portland metro. So, how many extra buyers would we get? Would it be 100? Would it be 1,000? If we had 1,000 more buyers in the Portland metro area fighting over the same properties, what would that look like? Right now we're at 3.7 months of inventory. It's way more inventory than we've had over the past couple years. With that being said, it's nowhere near a balanced market, right, of 6 months of inventory. So what would that impact look like to the current housing market with the amount of supply that we have? So I love these charts because we can really look at the numbers. So the way that I was kind of exploring this question was, if the average sales price in Oregon is around, I think it's 610, so let's just say 600, and if the interest rates just tick down, let's say you can get a rate at 6.6, maybe even 6.5 today, you could buy down the rate a little bit. So let's say that puts your monthly payment at $3,800 a month. Keep in mind, this does not include your taxes and insurance, right? I wish this was the total payment. But so we're at $3,800. You just bought a house, median sales price in Portland, $600,000. Your payment is $3,800. Now, if you waited, say, a year, and miraculously our interest rates drop to, let's just be, really hopeful about this. Let's say they drop to 5.75, now your payment would be $3,500, right? So we just saved $300 a month $3,600 a year, that's real money for most people. That's great. But let's say that you wait a year or you wait a year and a half, and all these buyers, right? All these buyers come off the market. Now, what's that going to do to home prices? Right now, we have sellers offering concessions to buyers. We are also seeing price decreases across the board. We're seeing, sellers having to drop their prices nationally and locally. So right now, buyers are able to get more. They're able to get concessions. They're able to ask for a seller to help with closing costs. Obviously, every listing is different. If it's a brand new listing in a super hot neighborhood that has a ton of interest, you might not be able to get a lot of those concessions met. But there are some great homes that I have seen in the Portland metro that have been sitting on the market for a month or two. And some of those sellers are going to be willing to negotiate more. Some aren't, but some might be. So if you were to buy a home today at say $600,000 and get some of those, seller concessions, maybe the house is actually $620,000, but you get it down to $600,000 and you got some of those seller concessions, and your payment's now $3,800 a month. You could refi. So in a year or two, once rates come down, you could refi down to this $3,500 a month. Now, do you have to pay closing costs for the refi? Yeah, you got to pay the closing costs. But when you look at the lifetime of a loan and wrap them in, it's not going to really impact your monthly. So let's say you say, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to wait for interest rates to drop. So in a year and a half, interest rates drop. What if we get more of these buyers off of the sideline, and now all of a sudden it starts pushing on home prices? Again, we have that 3.7 months of inventory. We don't have 6 months of inventory. We don't have 8 months of inventory. We still have low supply. So now this $600,000 house cost you $620,000. Maybe you weren't able to get those seller concessions. Maybe you had to pay your buyer's agent fee out of pocket. Maybe the seller wouldn't help you with closing costs. If that same house now costs you $620,000, you just paid you're paying $3,600 a month. So do you see where I'm going with this? Is that, yeah, it's great to get this payment down, but what is the impact going to be on home prices when we know that technically we still don't have enough supply for the demand? We know that buyers are sitting on the sideline waiting, right? Waiting for these interest rates to come down. And we know that today sellers are willing to offer a concession because things are softening. Homes are not moving as quickly as they used to. And we're also seeing price reductions across the board. Would it make more sense if you can afford it, right? If it's a possibility for you to say, you know what, we're going to buy it. We're going to get the house. We're going to get a good price on it. We're going to maybe get some of those seller concessions, and we're going to pay this $3,800 until we see these rates drop off. We may do this for a year. We may do it for a year and a half, maybe even 2, and then we're going to refi. And now you just got this house at $600. Or somebody who waited a year, they bought that same house at $620, and now they're paying, $100 more than you are a month in payment. So anyway, something to think about. I understand that everybody's situation is different. I understand that there are a lot of buyers that are just priced out of this market. I would encourage you to look at the condo market, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. It might be a fantastic way for you to get your foot in the door. But anyway, these are just kind of what was going through my mind when I really started to dive into this topic of, does it really make sense to wait to buy? And my answer is maybe not. Maybe not. If you can afford to buy today and you're approved at this price, but you just don't like your monthly payment, but you're looking at your long-term goals, it might make sense to buy today and to refi later and to get that payment down rather than wait another year and see that that pent up demand, all these buyers coming off the market, what's that going to do? What's that going to do to the housing market? Now, a lot of sellers are also going to start selling, so maybe there's an equilibrium there, right? But it's way too soon to tell. So I don't know. Those are just kind of my thoughts on the topic. You can dissect this question a lot of different ways. If you would like a copy of this chart with a certain price point, I'm happy to send it over to you. Just send me an email, send me a text, and I will send this to you. And again, I can revise the price point if you want to look at this graph for different loan amounts. So I hope that information is helpful. If you are looking to buy or sell in the Portland area, please give me a call. Always happy to help. Always happy to talk real estate.